This is the EVP Podcast.
Guess what, everybody? It's the EVP Podcast, and it's two of us today, your host, Ghosty.
And Beaker.
What's up, guys? What's going on, buddy?
Nothing.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to our own little ghost adventure trip to the Washoe.
Well, the Washoe Club, for those of you that don't know how to pronounce it like me.
The Washoe.
Washoe.
So it's coming up real close, so might as well do some places out there in Nevada.
Yeah, we're just sticking to Nevada for the next couple weeks.
Might as well, because that's where we're going to be.
Yep. We're trying to be like Ghost Adventures and not leave Nevada.
Or Utah. Our favorite places. So we're going to be in Elko today.
Elko.
Yeah, the old commercial hotel and casino.
Okay.
So some of you might recognize this place by the big old polar bear out front. If you've heard of the place or seen pictures, it's got the White King.
Yes.
What is he? The 10'4" biggest polar bear ever.
Known so far, yes.
So that's what that place is famous for. If you haven't seen it,
I kept looking at this the plastered thing outside.
Yeah, the plastic thing's probably like 20, 30 feet tall.
I'm like, that's...
Why would
why would they put a polar bear outside?
Yeah, a real one.
Yeah.
No,
and then it's in a glass case on the inside.
It's inside.
That's just a sign.
Have you ever been inside there before?
I didn't know this place existed.
I've driven past there before, and I have seen the place. And I think we should drive down there here later this week.
Oh, okay. The only place I've been in Nevada is Vegas.
Oh, okay. So,
and Wendover.
Yeah. Reno's a whole... That road to Reno, the I-80, that's a whole fun road full of ghost towns.
All right.
But this place we're doing, the Commercial Hotel and Casino. This actually is one of the oldest casinos in the state. It was a 3-story brick structure. It stands on the corner of 4th and Idaho Streets. And it's the site of the Humboldt Lodging House. And this was actually built in 1869. So... by our definition, it should be pretty haunted, right?
Yes, by EVP standards, it is haunted. Now, in 1893, it was purchased by one J.B. Abel, who rebuilt it into this 2-story hotel that you see now.
And then later, when they made gambling legal in Nevada, what year was that?
1931.
1931?
Is when gambling became legal. In 1941 is when they changed the name from the...
to what we know now.
Yes.
The Commercial Hotel and Casino. So that's, it added the casino, so it added onto it again. So this place just kept growing and growing. And then it was actually the first casino in the state and the first to do this. So this is what they're famous for, is bringing like big shows to the casinos and having big acts.
Yes.
So what Vegas is famous for now, this place started it.
Yeah.
So Elko's the first place to do this.
Good job, Elko.
Way to go, Commercial Hotel and Casino.
Now, some of the people that they brought during the 40s were the Andrews sisters, Sophie Tucker, and Chico Marx.
Have you heard of any of them?
Negative.
No, but they sound like they're famous.
I'm sure they were really big in the 40s.
Those are pretty famous sounding names.
Yeah.
Chico Marx.
Chico Marx. The Andrews sisters.
Yeah, I mean, just saying sisters in there, you know they're famous.
Sophie Tucker.
The early history of the commercials filled with folklore, which we'll get into here shortly.
Oh, yes.
So this place has some known deaths. And
now, so I've got 4 here that they talked about on Ghost Adventures, and 3 of them I was actually able to find like news articles for.
Oh, really?
This first one, not so much.
Okay.
I mean, they kind of, in their show, they had it on the background, a news article of this one. I couldn't find it, so I'm not sure the validity on this one.
Yeah, I didn't see anything else on this either, so.
But the other 3 I think I have here, I actually found the news articles online for them. So those 3 I know for sure are legit. But this first one is a lady named Annie McManus.
McManus.
So they have dates.
McManus?
Learn how to read.
Yeah.
McManus. Manus. M-A-N-U-S. Man-us.
Manus.
McManus. Okay, we spent too much time on the pronunciation of McManus. She was killed June 5th, 1870. She was stabbed 65 times by a guy named Bernard Cosgrove. And apparently after he stabbed her, when he was leaving, he stabbed a cop and the police dog as well.
No witnesses.
No, I don't know. They didn't really go into detail. And like I said, I couldn't find an article on this one. But they do have...
Sounds like he disappeared.
Quite possibly. One of the former employees, one of the former security guards, did send Ghost Adventures a picture that they caught, and it looks like there's a woman in white. And like we mentioned on last episode, or whatever episode it was, it doesn't matter where you go, there always seems to be a woman in white.
Well, mainly because ghosts are like that white grayish color usually, so you're always
Like
going to see
opaque?
them. Yeah, you're going to see them in that kind of smoky color, and they're all going to be the same color.
So they have this picture. They're convinced that this is Annie.
Well, I guess they're not all the same color. Sometimes a full body apparition will have.
Full color. I've
Yeah,
seen full body
yeah.
apparitions where...
I've seen both.
I haven't. I've seen full color, and I've seen like shadow people.
Seen full color, seen shadow people, and the reverse shadow people.
The reverse shadow.
Oh, great.
The
I
light
lost my
people,
notes.
then?
Yeah. Smoky people.
Man, see?
Yeah, smoky. Who else was Charles
Sned.
Sned. That was October 30th, 1896. He was beaten over the head with a coupling pin for a few cents. Just whatever he had in his pocket. He was getting mugged for.
So there's a whole article I sent you on this one. Let me pull it up real quick. So I do know that Charles was a half Cherokee. So there's this article that came out in 1896. It says, in the dark early hours of Friday, October 30th, 1896, Cherokee Charlie, Sned, and then they put in parentheses, rhymes with dead, no pun intended. He was brutally murdered outside the commercial hotel. Not much is known about Charlie. He was a cowhand with Hawk Mason out at Death, who reported that Charlie was a half-breed Cherokee who came to Elko a couple of days before his deadly rendezvous with the Grim Reaper. He had a good bit of back pay in his jeans. He rode into town on Wednesday afternoon and put his horse at the Nelson Livery Stable. He walked to the commercial and reported a rider in the Elko Independent got comfortably full and remained in that condition up until the time he was last seen alive around 1 a.m. on Friday. He had been on a 24-hour binge when he visited G.S. Garcia's harness and saddle shop, where he bought a $35 saddle. After paying for the gear, he pulled $75 from his pocket, took out $5 and asked Garcia to hold the rest of the money until he was ready to leave town. Sneed left to continue work on his drinking. Dave Powell found him lying near the rear gate of the commercial about 5 a.m. Cherokee Charlie was face down in a pool of blood. On one hand, I can read, holy hell. One hand was on his head, his boots and one stocking were off, and his clothes were unbuttoned. Powell called for help, and Charlie's almost lifeless body was taken to the hospital, where he died. He had been beaten with a railroad coupling pin, seriously fracturing his head several times. It was a brutal murder for a few cents, if Sned even had any money left after his earnest drinking.
I don't know. It sounds like he probably wasn't getting mugged. It sounds more like he probably started a fight that he couldn't finish.
Maybe.
It sounds like, I mean that's pretty brutal for a few cents.
Well, maybe someone saw him with all the cash and assumed he still had it on him, not knowing that he'd given it to the other guy to hold on to.
And then they just kept beating him because they were mad that he didn't have any money.
Quite possibly.
Well, you made me do all this for this, you son of a...
Yep. He could have just beaten him and then went for the money afterwards.
That's excessive. That sounds like he was mad at him.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Who's this? John Cobble, December 5th, 1914. John C. Cobble, former Wyoming cattle king and more recently manager of a ranch in Nevada, committed suicide at 12:50 this morning by shooting himself in the open mouth with a .32 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver. Death was instantaneous. The suicide occurred in the ladies' parlor of the commercial hotel. Cobble left a note addressed to
To his wife.
To his wife, saying that he had tried to pull through, but was in all and couldn't make good. Well, he just sounded depressed. In the ladies' parlor, though, huh?
Yep. So that's exactly, other than with, I put with instead of wife. That was word for word from the news article that was written at the time of his death. Uh-huh. So like I said, so Charles Sned, I just read the article for that one. You read John Coble's.
Coble, yeah, okay. 1B. Coble.
Yeah. And then the next one, Roger Dean Boyles. That's occurred on October 26, 1985. And I was actually able to find, you found it as well, the court documents, more or less, talking about the trial and what happened with this one. So, Roger Boyles was actually murdered by a man named Merrill Wolford.
Wolford, yeah.
Wolford. Roger was in the company of a woman named Laverne Hunt. She had been the former wife of Merrill. And about 5 months earlier, she had divorced Merrill. And they lived together up until about 10 days before Roger's murder. They lived in a trailer together. Mm-hmm. Now, all three of them, actually, Wolford and Boyles had been really good friends up until this point. And Merrill Wolford believed that Roger was having the sex with his ex-wife there.
Mm-hmm. Probably was.
It's very possible. And Merrill was a little jealous. He became an alcoholic and he would get drunk every night. The three of them were regulars there at the commercial hotel, and they were known by all the employees. The bartenders and waitresses were very aware of the divorce. They knew what was going on. That's how often these people were there. The night before the murder, Merrill had actually hinted to the bartender that he had a gun, and he told him that he was going to shoot the two of them. And when he was drinking that night before the murder, he actually had his right hand in his vest where the gun was. And, like I said, he told the bartender that he had the gun and he was going to murder him. So he actually left and then came back about a half an hour later. And this time the bartender had told one of the waitresses that he wasn't sure if Merrill was joking around or not, if he had a gun.
Okay, that's good. At least he said something.
So when he came back, the waitress kind of was like playing around with him and says, "Oh, I have to frisk you before you come in." And she said she felt like he actually did have a gun. Okay. By the time he came back, Roger and Laverne had left. So he just kind of called it a night. When I came back the next day, saying he was there to invite his ex-wife to a Halloween party. Now, according to the bartender, Merrill came in, he sat down and ordered a drink. And then the bartender, for whatever reason, bought him another drink, even though he hadn't finished the first one. Merrill sat there for about 15, 20 minutes, got up and left without finishing either one of his drinks. He says about 8:15, he came in. No, keep in mind, when Merrill was there the first time, he was not wearing his vest. Okay. He leaves, comes back, he's got his vest, and he's got his hand in his vest pocket. Mm-hmm. And he says when Merrill came back in, Roger and Laverne were sitting at the end of the bar, and Wolford came through the door. He walked straight up to Roger and Laverne, and he bumped into people on the way. He was just kind of he just had his mindset on one thing.
Laser focused.
Yeah. He got straight up to Roger and didn't say a word, pulled out his gun, and just started shooting at him. Now, according to Merrill, he claimed that he did come in to invite Laverne to a Halloween party, okay? Mm-hmm. And when he saw her with Roger, he went into the men's room to kind of like compose himself, I guess. When he came out, he said he saw them embracing or hugging. And at that point, he said it caused him to go into some kind of altered state of consciousness. He said everything just went kind of red and black, and then it was like he was just watching this all go down. He said after the shooting, he remembers going back inside of his body, and he testified that he had no intention to kill Roger, but he flipped out, and that he was just crazier than hell.
Psycho.
Yep. I read a couple follow-up articles on this. I guess in 1999, he was filing for an appeal for time served for the 14 years. I didn't read too much on whether or not he was granted that, but as far as I know, he's probably still in jail because I think he got 2 consecutive life sentences.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still there too. There's also Handsome Harry.
Handsome Harry.
So he's the famous one that everyone refers to. Let's see. Where is this? Handsome Harry. So he is there with a mistress, an infamous Elko prostitute. I don't remember what her name was.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that said her name.
But they were shot to death by her husband in one of the second floor hotel rooms. And the rumors, many sightings have it that Handsome Harry wanders the second floor of the old hotel looking for his lost lover. So sounds like he's up there having a little rendezvous with a married woman who's also a prostitute.
Right. So here's my thing.
Why is this guy getting jealous?
Yeah, right.
Maybe because she's in love.
Maybe.
Feelings are involved.
Because, I mean, he is Handsome Harry after all.
And he just...
It's like, hey, come with me.
Stole her heart.
Come with me, town prostitute.
Yeah, I'll make things better.
That's not important enough to have a name for this story.
Did you find anything about this being real?
No, I didn't even bother looking into it.
Yeah, just seems like this is just the folklore and like, just a fun story to talk about.
Quite possibly. It just seems very odd that someone, I mean, I guess I could see it happening with someone getting jealous. Like they're married to a prostitute and they're getting jealous that their wife is with other men. It's like, what did you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think is going to happen?
What do you think she gets paid to do? What's paying your bills? Bud?
I didn't know what a prostitute was when I married her.
But now the hotel, it got shut down in 1982. 1982 till now,
the top 2 floors, did the hotel part of it got shut down because of fire code violations?
Fire code violations, yeah. And then
I think the bar and everything, the restaurant still stayed open up until COVID.
I think that did, and now ever since I think last year, it's now just doing like a haunted attraction.
It's so much more than that.
Well, yeah.
Did you even go look at their website?
No.
It is a family fun center.
Is it a family fun center?
Holy
now?
hell, yes, I want to go there.
What they got?
Oh my gosh. So
miniature
they have
golf now, I bet?
They do have miniature golf that is on there. I was watching the TikTok of them talking about it that just came out in January. So it is now a family fun center. Mm-hmm. They do have an arcade. They have paint rooms where you can go and just splatter paint all over the walls. They give you like little ponchos to wear and you can spray paint your friends too if you want.
Interesting. That's kind of a cool concept, actually.
And I know this is the actual commercial because at the very beginning of the TikTok, she shows the giant polar bear. So yeah, it's a little family fun center. They have a pottery class that you can take where you can paint your pottery stuff and then they put it in their kiln to like make it ceramic or whatever. I don't know how pottery works.
Yeah.
And then they have smash rooms.
I was gonna say, if they have those paint rooms, that sounds like a smash room.
They also have escape rooms.
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
So you have all these rooms.
Why not
2-story hotel.
I bet you they should have axe throwing.
I don't think they did, but that
we should go tell them they should add it. Let's go stop by.
Do it.
'Cause we'll be there in a few days.
Yes, this is true.
But, Ghost Adventures was there recently as well.
Yeah, this came out about a year ago.
And one weird thing that when I was watching the episode, they were using that one camera, and it's almost like an infrared thermal. I can't remember exactly how it is, but it is kind of pixelated. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Well, anyways, they were going, as they were passing by a mirror. On the mirror, the reflection, you can't see it with your eyes or anything. They couldn't figure out, and it only showed up for a moment. It was like, it looked like the word Y, W-H. You could see the W, you could see the H, and the Y was almost there, but not quite. And they were kind of freaking out about that. It was pretty cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, they said there was like somebody named like W Hunt.
Oh yeah, there is somebody
they were trying to correlate it to
a name.
To a name. It's funny because actually I was reading on Reddit where it's like it said Y on the board and they're like, oh, it's trying to communicate. We can communicate with this. W-H?
I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying. I was just looking at the TV when I seen that, and that's what I saw was the Y.
You do see the W-H pop up, and that's what they focused on. Mm-hmm. And it was actually funny on the Reddit.
On the old Reddit.
They were going off and trying to connected with the person that apparently was known there.
They also did capture something that was kind of weird. There was towards the end of the show, Zach was freaking out because he saw something in his peripheral almost, and he turned and looked, and he said it was like this black figure that was like wavy, rubber bandy. He said it was just kind of like wavy there, and one of the cameras actually caught what he was seeing, and in the camera, what it caught was it looked like some hooded or cloaked figure, all shadowy, and nothing else. Like when they're looking at anything else, nothing else was showing it, and they went back there to see if they could recapture that and see if something else would cause that. So they were trying to debunk that photo and they couldn't. So it looked like they did catch whatever Zach was seeing with his bare ass eyes.
Yes.
His polar bare ass eyes.
Yes, that joke at the beginning of the episode was dumb.
That was real dumb.
That whole intro was kind of...
That was the weirdest intro ever. They're just looking up at this bear talking about how big it is. And I couldn't tell if they were trying to make like sexual innuendos with it, but it didn't make sexual innuendos. So I was like, what the hell are they trying to be... Is this trying to be funny or what? Weird. It was just it was an awkward opening for sure.
Yeah. And he's like, do you know how a polar bear catches fish? And they're like, how? And he's like, with its bare hands.
I would have said bare ass hands. But... Well, I can't think if there was anything else from the show they captured.
When they said Annie's name, like the EMF spiked.
Well, there was like lights flickering when they were asking about other people.
Well, the lights were flickering the entire damn time.
Yeah, and they were trying to think that was ghost activity. I think it's just the old building.
They just claimed that there was a lot of like repressive, like negative energy that didn't want them to be there, just like every other location they've ever been to.
Yeah, and everything's always the worst place they've been to.
Right.
That place, though, I do think it does have a lot of spirits. And then they did find one of the rooms. It looks like somebody was doing a ritual in where they had like a circle of wax and feathers. So it did look like somebody was in there trying to do some rituals.
I just want you to know, I tried to watch that episode about 4 times this morning, and I fell asleep every single time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I watched it once earlier this week, and then I watched it again just barely.
Yeah, I put it on 8:30 this morning, and then again at like 9:30, and then again at 10:30. Just every time I got over, I would realize I had fallen asleep, and I had restarted it.
But this place, I do think there are some ghosts there. I probably don't think they're as active but the security guards are experiencing some things though.
So some of the things that people have reported, they report hostile energies there and even aggressive attacks. There was a gentleman that was on Ghost Adventures. His name was Corey Stanton.
Yeah, he was a security guard who quit because he was getting bothered too much by spirits.
Yes, well, it's another security guard as well. I think he just quit for reasons, but... the one that was on the episode said at one point in time he was there with the security guard and he heard footsteps running from what sounded like they originated by the stairwell and ran the entire length of the building and then back. And he looked at the other security guard and he's like, please tell me there's a hallway there. And the other security guard said, nope, those are all rooms. So if somebody's running through there, they have to be running through the walls.
Which is pretty wild.
Yes.
They also talked about getting things thrown at them as well.
So a different security guard that had quit because of this said every time he went up to the second floor, he was growled at. He had things thrown at him such as brooms and batteries, and he had been scratched on multiple occasions. The Corey guy had said at one point, the security guard said his back felt like it was burning, so he lifted up a shirt and it looked like someone had just taken both their hands and just scratched down his back. And that became too much for that security guard to handle, so he quit.
Yeah, that wouldn't be worth the pay, I'm sure.
No.
I'm sure Elko doesn't pay much.
Probably not. And now there was another former employee that they had on there. The guy worked there for like 20 years. His name was Lee Westros. Mm-hmm. And he took them down to the basement and showed them where he had an experience at one point in time. What was his? So he was in the basement. He was looking for something. He didn't really say what he was looking for. He just said he was looking. And he couldn't really see anything. I'm assuming it's because it was dark. And he kind of tilted his head in a way, trying to see if there was anything that he could see while he's doing that. And he hears this lady's voice get right up in his ear and be like, can I help you?
Oh, yeah.
Or can I help, is what he said. But it almost like, the way he described it is, it wasn't the lady wasn't like asking if she could help, like if she wanted, if she could be actual assistance. You kind of know, like, when you go somewhere and you got a person that's like really annoyed, and they're like, "Can I help?" He was saying that she was just wanting him to get the hell out of her because he felt like she thought he was invading her space. Yeah.
It's kind of cool because, I mean, they're there when it's all dead and quiet. There's no other people making noise. And so they are experiencing get to be in that silence where they can hear everything and experience everything. That would be kind of cool. But I'm sure it's not like every night there. I'm sure it's after maybe like 4 nights out of the however many years they've been there. They've experienced something. But I'd still want to go ghost hunting there.
Yeah, me too. According to their website, it says they're open all winter long, so I don't know if they're still currently open now.
Yeah, I bet you they're going to be open when we drive by. We're going to go inside.
We can find out before we go. But here are some of the other things that I missed on their list of things to do. There's a VR roller coaster. I said paint your own pottery studio, escape rooms, rage rooms, or the smash rooms.
Yeah.
Splatter paint rooms, carnival games, a mods arcade. There's a snack bar, mini golf, and a buddy builder boutique, kind of like Build-A-Bear. And then ghost tours. Which has me interested because I want to go and see if we can take a ghost tour while we're driving through Elko.
I think we're going to have to time everything after this and see if we can do it. I think we should buy tickets if we can.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, what do you think about this place? The haunted? Yeah. I mean, it meets the standards.
It meets the EVP standards. It's over 100 years old, therefore it is automatically haunted.
Automatically has haunted.
Whether or not there's ghosts there, it doesn't matter. It's haunted. It's over 100 years old.
Yeah, we're going to investigate it.
Yes. And I don't think, at this point in time, I don't think anything can be more disappointing than Merker Cemetery was, because that place was just like, me.
Oh, we were just barely talking about that road.
Oh, yes, we
were. To get out there.
It's very possible. I mean, there's so much that goes on in casinos and hotels.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there are deaths there, and I'm sure these are just the murders. I guarantee there's a lot more, like, suicides that have happened.
Well, I mean, the one was a suicide.
Yeah, but I'm sure that was the only one that was listed. I'm sure there's a lot more than that.
I'm sure there is.
And then I'm sure there's a lot more other accidental deaths.
I did find other articles of people that they didn't necessarily kill somebody there, but there was suggested that they killed somebody and then came back there. It was like in the 1920s.
Right. I saw that too.
Before gambling was legal, they think that these people were running like an illegal poker game.
Yeah, and they had ties to them going back to the diner and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
So there's other deaths and whatnot connected to this property.
But I know from other people that work at hotels, like things that don't go, in the news or anything, but say they've been working at a hotel for a year. They'll say during that year they worked there were like 3 deaths that happened. And, nothing that goes on the news or anything, but it's just constant deaths happen at hotels.
Well, yeah, it's possible.
So like even
like a drug overdose or something like that.
Yep.
I know, like, you look at wrestlers, for example, like Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm, the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
He jied.
He jied in a hotel room.
That wasn't funny that him dying, but
no, I think Eddie Guerrero. There was a bunch of them. Like, it just happens, especially when people travel quite a bit. And this is, I mean, you got Vegas and Elko and Reno, all these places that have like casinos. You're gonna have deaths there in the hotel for crying out loud. Last time I was in Vegas, we saw a dead guy on the strip.
See?
So you're gonna find it. It's gonna happen.
Exactly. And hotels seem commonplace for it. So, with this place having the history does, yep, I think it's haunted.
Most likely. Well, we better take a ghost tour and figure it out.
We will take a ghost tour. We're actually going to take go see Ghostbusters after this.
Yes, we're going to see Ghostbusters.
I'm pretty stoked for that.
Me too.
Heard good things. Did anybody respond to her?
No one talks to us anymore.
Way to go, you guys. Get some responses in there. Well, should we call that an episode?
Sure.
Get ready for a movie? Let's give you some snacks.
Oh, wait, before we do that, we should remind people that if they want to follow us on social media, you can find us at evp.pod, Instagram and Facebook. And if you have a story of the commercial, if you've been there and you want to share it with us.
With the Polar King. You got pictures with the White King?
The White King, yes. Email us at evp.pod@gmail.com. After you do that, check out ghoststop.com. Check out our affiliate link there, more importantly. And buy some ghost hunting gear. Go hunting with us.
Yeah, we got to set up some stuff for this year, but all right, guys, go see Don't Play That.
Peace out, butterfly.
This is the EVP Podcast.